So, the nightmare begins again.
Hey, welcome back to... You know what? I want to stop calling this my eternal agony and suffering, because the last few episodes have been going pretty good. Last time, we established ourselves as true B-route supremacists, mainly because Bartrade's cool. Shut up. Now it's time to go on to where the paths reconverge again, starting with Chapter 12, and it's a guidance chapter 12X. So, let's get right to it. Chapter 12 is a fairly straightforward map. Your team is split into two groups, and you both need to go forward, converge in the back left, and kill a dragon. You know, easy peasy lemon squeezy. However, there are a ton of chests scattered around with really good items inside, so you gotta bring along a Stolfo for this one. You don't really need to bring Chad too, but I guess you can if you want. The main thing that's going to be difficult are the little hallway of death in the left of the map. This thing is just really unavoidable, like you gotta deal with the archers there, so Shauna's gonna have to tread lightly, but as long as you've got them handy dandy javelins, you should be able to just kill them quite fine. It'll still be tough to go through though. The other thing that makes this hallway of fuck a little bit more difficult are the long-range magic users. Now one of them is just a physic, which, while kind of annoying, isn't really that big of a deal. The other one that's a bit more of a problem is the sleep staff user. So he just puts your units to sleep, and for those of you that don't know, sleep is basically a guaranteed hit in this game. There are very few units that have the resistance capable of dodging it. But that's why I have Clarine with the restore staff, so anyone who gets put to sleep will be A-okay. Unless, like, I don't know, specifically Astolfo got put to sleep, who's on the opposite side of the map as Clarine. That would be a problem, but ha! Not like that happened. The final long-range magic I want to mention is Eclipse. Not because it's a threat, but because it's fucking sad. Eclipse is, by far, the worst weapon in this entire game. It sounds really good, like, ooh, whoa, you reduce an enemy's HP to 1 no matter what? Incredible! Look at its accuracy. Look how often that thing has a chance to hit me. It doesn't. The enemy shaman here has 5 uses of Eclipse, he uses all 5, and the highest chance he has to hit me, the absolute pinnacle of his power, is 8%. This tome is laughable, and I really did just take a whole ass minute out of this video just to laugh at how sad this shaman is. It really almost brings a tear to my eye.
You tried your best, and you failed miserably. The lesson is, never try.
As we make our way out of the hallway of death, we come across an opening with a bunch of big, beefy axe dudes. Now, that's not really the interesting part. I mean, we got plenty of swordy boys to deal with all that shit. The interesting part is, to the left of those axey men, there's a nerd with a book, who doesn't quite fit the description of all these other people, because he has a face. And that face is of Ray, our next new unit for the chapter.
And the prodigal asshole returns.
Ray stands as a solid decent. Now, he's a dark mage, which, for those of you that have followed the channel, know that's my favorite class in the series, and he's one of those units that's just fine if you train him up, but his base stats leave a little bit to be desired. The other problem that he has is that he uses the Guiding Ring, which is by far the most coveted and rarest promotion item in the game. So, yeah, he runs into a few problems there. But if you actually train him up, he has stellar offensive growths, and the ability to use Nosferatu for some durability on the front lines is actually greatly appreciated. It's just that slow start that might make him a little difficult to use for people. Personally, I normally use Ray every single run. I love me my dark mages, but I'm not going to be using them this time. Considering that if I have a single unit die, I have to reset, I'm not too into carrying around a bunch of frail mages, but do know that I appreciate him. Before we move on from Ray, I do want to bring up that he doesn't have any hard mode bonuses despite being recruited as an enemy. Why? Is he glitched? No, he's actually the only one that works correctly. In hard mode, your units that you recruit as enemies were never supposed to get bonuses. They were supposed to be an enemy unit with their normal base stats. But there's a glitch where if that enemy came in as a reinforcement, whatever checks to see if you recruit them or not doesn't happen, so they're treated as a regular enemy and get inflated stats. Ray, alongside Hugh later on in the game, are the only enemy units that get recruited that start on the map. Everyone else comes in as a reinforcement. So anyone who thinks Ray and Hugh are glitched for not getting hard mode bonuses are incorrect. Everyone else is technically the problem, not them. And after we nab Ray, there's another child running around that we need to recruit. Kath, who we actually can recruit this time instead of just talk to her and get her to leave. Though that does make me wonder, how the hell did she get onto the Western Isles? Like, did she sneak on a boat or something? Yeah, whatever, let's talk about Kath. Kath is fucking garbage. She's of a utility class, which would be fine if we ever needed anyone other than Astolfo. Her base weapon rank is atrocious, meaning even if you did want to grind her up, it's really fucking hard to do that with an iron sword. She can't promote, because this is FE6, and there's like, maybe one map where you could warrant bringing in Kath as well as Astolfo. Like, Chapter 16, maybe. That's it. She's just bad. Really, really bad. I got nothing else to say. And lastly, we arrive at the boss of the chapter, a big, fierce dragon. The Manicheets in this game are... We just use Rutgar. That's it. Like, give him the Worm Slayer, we'll let him do his thing. You know, this run is really making me realize that all the claims about Rutgar's godlike performance on hard mode are not exaggerated. They are indeed the real deal. With one dead dragon, we now arrive to the Gaiden chapter. Chapter 12X, a pretty easy one, all things considered. It's a fog of war map because the cave is dark as shit, and you're just surrounded by brigands and like a merman and an archer here and there. It's pretty easy because almost every enemy is an axe unit, so just bring a sword unit with you and you'll almost never get hit. But the main thing that they're trying to do here is there are a bunch of chests around, and thieves are running all about, so you need to move quickly in order to get all of the chests. But funky thing, most of them just have, like, antitoxins. Like, it's not that big of a deal if you miss some of the chests. So just go at a moderate pace and you should, keyword should, be fine. I guess what they were trying to do was also have the threat of poison, which comes from the walls, which is why they give you all that antitoxin. The problem is, poison isn't scary. Like, oh no, I've taken 1 to 2 points of damage. Ah, I'm scared. Like, even if you get poisoned, which you have to not be looking at the walls to do, first of all, you're not gonna really care. I guess if I really gave a shit, I could restore it, but like, it's not that big a deal. Poison is not scary in this game. So basically, I use this chapter as a train up Roy chapter. Now it's true, Roy's not a good unit, but it's better to give him a little bit of experience so he can at least not be like an enemy sneezes on him and he dies. Granted, that will still probably happen, but at the very least, I'd like to make it less likely to happen. So we're feeding Roy some kills from all these axe units. There's really only one enemy that makes that much of a difference as we're going through. The Druid. There's a Druid around there with Physic, Nosferatu, and Eclipse. If he gets to Nosferatu tanking, that's a little scary. But he has Eclipse, so he's gonna proceed to not hit a damn thing, be holding a book that weighs more than the strongest weapons in the world, and then he's just gonna get stabbed to death by Alan. Truly a sad existence. Ladies and gentlemen, those who are both and those who are neither, welcome to the question, how are we gonna kill that boss? This chapter's contestant is a Berserker, an axe unit. So, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna A, set him on fire, B, ask him politely to stop, or C, kill him with Rutgar? We are taking your votes now. And that's all the time, and as expected, the answer is... oh. And with that, 2 chapters are done, and the episode comes to a close. Thank you guys very much for watching another episode of this. We have made it through the Western Isles, which I'm gonna admit is more than I thought we'd be able to accomplish. But hey, we've made it this far, why not keep her going? Before this episode ends, I would like to thank all of my patrons. For those of you unaware, I have a Patreon page where you can give me money in exchange for benefits like having your name read aloud in videos, access to polls to decide future videos on the channel, that kind of thing. The patrons that have paid enough money to have their name read are as follows: Bish Near, Dell, Follow Penta the North Star on Twitch, Great Riek, Hell on Heelys, Green Brigand, Kieran Morin, Nember, Rangerman Sam, Wario Carroll, Ryan Walter, Space1255, Steph D, Brentendo11, and Drew Hack. Thank you all for your continued support, and next time, assuming we can get past the double bridge map, we're on to Arcadia! Kill me now!